What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD podcast, where I interview top entrepreneurs, top fitness and health professionals, and people that straight up dominate their space. These are people that do not accept mediocrity. Instead, they get clarity on what they want in life. They get their hustle muscle on, they take massive levels of action, and create their dreams into realities. They operate in straight up GSD mode, and they get shit done. Real quick, I need a huge favor. In order to continue bringing these amazing interviews packed with massive information, all I ask is these 3 quick steps that take only about 60 seconds. So step number 1, if you've not done so already, please go to www.joshua.smithgsd.com and subscribe to our email list. You will then automatically receive all of these interviews in your email, along with a ton of other cool content we're always creating and sending out. Don't worry, you will not be spammed. I hate spam too. From there, you can also connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Secondly, if you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher, please give us a 5-star rating and a positive review. Last favor, share these with everyone and anyone you know that you feel may benefit. This is the only way I'm able to provide these amazing interviews with the biggest badasses on the planet 100% for free, is through growing our listener base. So this is very, very important. I know you are busy, and these steps will only take about 60 seconds to do, and it's all I ask in return for all this great content. It means a lot to me, so please, I'm begging, I'm asking that you take those steps and do it right now. Pause this show, take 60 seconds, do these steps, and then when you're done, come back, hit the play button, and then boom, I promise we're going to bring you some epic content. With our interviews being so hardcore, you guys, we decided to switch things up. So again, with our interviews being so hardcore and so in-depth, they are long. So we decided to break these up into parts. All will be released on the same day, but broken up into multiple parts, which will make it a lot easier for you to stop and come back where you left off in a more easily fashion. This show today, man, we have a dude that is absolutely amazing. I'm so pumped up and amped up for today. This guy is a dude that built a real estate business from nothing. You know, some people think successful people maybe came from something that they didn't or knew the right people. You know, this guy comes from a pretty amazing background, created one of the top real estate teams on the planet, and then from there transitioned into today where he's now one of the most sought after real estate coaches and speakers in the whole entire real estate industry. He's a 2-time international best-selling author, public speaker, top coach, and just overall badass. So today I'm honored to have on my good friend Michael Maher to the show. Welcome, my brother.
Nice. In studio, no doubt. We got to give each other a high five.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Could you hear that?
Yeah, first out-of-state guest that I know you had other business. You got other business coming on in town, but flew in, is in studio, and man, honored to have you here in Stoke, man.
It's an honor and privilege to be on. Yeah. Great stuff that you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. So you've got this crazy journey, dude. Usually I ask people to kind of start maybe from like college or high school and how they transition. Let's kind of rewind, because again, in the intro, we kind of talked about a lot of people, the spectators, the outsiders might sit there and say, okay, this guy, he's speaking to hundreds of thousands of people, best-selling author, made all these millions. They think you might have went to the right schools, knew the right people, came up with the right upbringing. Let's talk a little bit about your journey growing up and how that looked.
Yeah, the very beginning. So Gardner, Kansas. If anybody can start and grow it big from Gardner, Kansas, that's a story. Gardner, Kansas. I grew up. There's the really poor, there's the dirt poor, and then there's the piss poor, and then there was where we lived, and we had dirt floors. We lived in a place called Tower Ridge, which is no longer in existence. They actually bulldozed it about 20 years ago because it was a bunch of termites holding hands. And it was just an I mean, I drive by there every once in a while when I head back home, and it's just amazing to me, that's where we started. But I didn't know I was poor. That's what's so funny is that because there was love in the family and sports was a fantastic distraction. My dad was a teacher, and coach. He taught for $2,500 a year. He coached 3 sports for the fun of it, no pay, and he drove the bus at 5:30 in the morning for 50 extra bucks a quarter. That was the beginnings. And my mom said I think it'd be all right if it was just me, mom, and myself. But it was actually my mom stayed home with 5 kids. Because we couldn't afford a babysitter or anything like that. So we had, we would literally on Sunday night, my mom would make a huge vat of some type of food, and then we would eat on that all week long. And to this day, there are meals that I cannot eat. Goulash, I can't even stand the smell of it. Just not going to happen. Ratatouille, no way. I mean, mac and cheese, I can't eat. I cannot eat mac and cheese. We had beef stew without beef. She'd use broth instead. I didn't know it was. She'd call it beef stew. Right. It's like you don't even think about that till later. It's like, wait a second, there was no beef actually in this beef stew. So it was pretty poor beginnings and.
Yeah, but it's I know you're just a guy from tremendous gratitude, and sometimes we don't when we're going through those, we don't understand that those are just these huge blessings that God maybe put in our lives or in our past, but that probably really contributes to that grateful guy that you are right now, and also your hard work ethic, dude. Like, you're one of the hardest working dudes I've ever met in my life, and you're watching your dad grind and then go coach and do all this stuff. You're watching your mom. I mean, I've got 3 little kids that my wife raised, and I have no idea. People are always like, "Oh, Josh, you work 80 hours. I guess it's be tough." I'm like, dude, that's nothing compared to what my wife has to do with 3 little kids. So being in that environment, it really sets some of those core fundamentals for you.
It absolutely did. It's not like there wasn't love. There was love. It was unspoken love. It was a hard. My dad came from an farm upbringing. So honestly, my dad and I might have said. I said the word "I love you," but unfortunately, it was about 10 seconds after he passed away. Right, during our entire. But I don't want people to think that there was no love just because there was unspoken. Because we never spoke it. It was always there. We all loved each other, and it just wasn't a place where that's the place. And what's funny is you look at life. It's like the people that I really worry about sometimes are the ones that are so easy to tell me that they love me in the first place, right? And it's just it was a good upbringing by all other aspects. We just didn't even have any money, right? And it was sports. Lost ourselves in sports. And what's cool about sports is that it's pretty inexpensive to play them. And I have no idea what it took my mom and dad to get the $110 together or whatever it was for me to play baseball, as a kid and so on and so forth. But I'm extremely appreciative that they did it because sports was my outlet. I played whatever sport was in season. It's the way that I made friends. It's a way that the poor little kid who couldn't hang out with the others for other reasons, they hung out with me because of sports, because I was pretty good. So we lost ourselves in sports, and honestly, you talk about hard work and things like that. The work ethic comes also from working on a farm, but it also comes from athletics, because what I found is that I could take the little bit of talent that I had, and once I practiced and worked hard, I could surpass all of the others. It wasn't because I was the most talented. It was because I was the most practiced. And what's funny is with Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers, it's just like he hit it on the head with the 10,000 hour rule. And you talk about working hard and GSD, right? Here's the deal. If you know to master something, it's going to take 10,000 hours and you love it, you need to get those 10,000 hours in as fast as you can.
Yeah, get started, baby.
Yeah, let's go. Because, you start thinking you're only going to work on it 3 hours a day. Dang, that's going to take you a while. But if you're going to do it, 10 hours a day or even 8 hours a day, it's going to happen twice as fast, maybe even 3 times as fast.
Yeah, you get all these people that are they're really just delusional, dude. They think that they say they want to be an entrepreneur. They say they want to be, whether it's an athletics or whatever, they say they want to be great, but they're not willing to put in that hustle muscle, and really just become delusional, tricking the, they're telling themselves stories, and
that's the truth. I believe that the hustle muscle is the heart. If your heart's not into it, then you're probably not going to execute the hustle muscle. The other thing is that execute on the hustle muscle, exercise your hustle muscle first. That's what I think is a lot of times people are like, when I find my why, I will work hard. Here's the thing. Socrates said, if you're going to be a senator, be the best dang senator in the world. If you're going to be a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper in the world. That has always resonated with me, is if I'm going to do it, it's 100%, right? 100% or zero. If I'm going to say yes, if I'm going to commit, if I'm going to be responsible, then son of a gun, I'm going to suck it up and I'm going to do it at the best level ever. And that all started with things that I really didn't even enjoy, painting a house. I remember I was painting my girlfriend's house when I was in high school, and honestly, I was like a lot of teenagers, and it was one of those situations where it's like I slopped my way through it. I got paint everywhere. It wasn't fully done. It looked like crap. The house looked like crap. And so my dad said, get in the car. Let's go look at the job you did. I was like, oh crap. So we drove out there, and he looked at it, and he literally railed me and just said, listen, you need to create a signature. Could you sign this? Is this you? I mean, people are going to look at this and they're going to say, Michael Maher painted this. Are you okay with that? Are you willing to sign off on that? And I was like, no, I'm not. He goes, every day you need to create a signature day. A day that you can sign your name to with proud, put a star in the eye, put an underline on it, because you did rock star status. You created an awesome day. And if you want to sign autographs someday, then you need to create a signature day every single day. And son of a gun, I had to re-scrape that puppy, and I repainted that entire house. And by the end of it, I could have been a painter for life.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Such amazing advice too, And Jim Rohn, something that he said something similar to that when he was coaching and teaching and around, that it was, at least in his philosophies, unhappiness and people being unfulfilled really came from operating down here when they know their full potential's up here. It's right. not necessarily the task that you're doing. It's just knowing that you're capable of more, and you're not doing that at your full potential.
If you got to do it, put your heart into it.
Yep, I love that, man.
Put your heart into it, and here's what. But that goes into all the other aspects of your life. And I will tell you that you exercise this to the nth degree. Is once you've smelled mastery, once you've experienced the air of excellence, you don't want to touch anything mediocre. Yep. You don't want to associate with mediocrity. And the other thing is, I tell you where I'm at in my life is I just don't have any time for people who don't get stuff done. I mean, it's like in my life, I don't have any time for it. But if they're a master implementer, if they are a make it happen person, they're just people that make it happen. They will not fail. They say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. And luckily my filter is so high. Coaching client, somebody calls, we have more people that want to coach with us than we have room for coaches and myself, right? So literally that we'll do our calls. I still do some of the intake calls, and the thing, we assign them something and we say, all right, go get this done. And usually it's based off their biggest challenge. And 80% of those people never come back.
Yeah.
The 20%, then guess what? Let's get into the budget and what you can make, how we can make this happen for you. I have no time for people who aren't implementers. And people are always like, all your coaching clients, they're always raving and they're always this, that, and the other. And it's like, that has nothing to do with me other than the filter that I put on it from the beginning. And that's the thing. The filter all started with a sloppy paint job.
Yep.
It all started with, dude, I am not going to give any time to people who don't get stuff done. Yep. The people that make it happen, they're going to get my time, they're going to get my energy, my effort, my money, and let's rock and roll.
Yeah, I know. I love that. I love that you set parameters up for your life. It's okay. Here's what I'm going to tolerate, and here's what I'm not going to tolerate, whether it's within yourself or other people. And I think that's brilliant, bro. All right, dude. So let's talk about what got you into
real estate? What got you in it? At what point were you like, okay, dude, I want to become an entrepreneur? So let's kind of talk a little bit more about your personal journey. Let's say you graduate high school. I mean, what did that look like from there?
Yeah. And I love that you're having this podcast because I don't think I even looked at myself as a business owner until I was 4 or 5 years into real estate. So I went to school. I played college baseball at a couple of different community colleges, then at KU, and then my dad got cancer, and so he had cancer for 3 years. I was in the position. My brother had high school. My mom was working then, and the other kids had moved out and were out of town and working. So I was at college, so I dropped out of college to drive him around appointments, and everybody's like, "Oh man, that totally slowed down your life, didn't it?" And it was like, no, because in those 3 years, I got to know my dad better than I had the previous 19, because I got to drive him and I got to talk to him, and interestingly enough, I went back to school, changed my major to it was from engineering to math, because then I changed everything to become a math teacher because my dad was a teacher. And that happened with those 3 years of really getting to know him better, and I found there was a teacher inside of me. So I went back, got my degree, started teaching high school math. And listen, brother, if you can teach high school math, if you can sell math to high school students, everything else is easy peasy. I mean, that's the hardest sales job in the world. So I did that for a couple of years, and in the summers, I developed the curriculum for my classes. Well, I kind of had done that. So the summer after my 3rd year of teaching, I needed a summer job. I was looking for something to do, and I was a little bit too old to be a lifeguard. So I ended up buying my first home. During the process, I knew 2 things. One is I knew that I wanted to invest in real estate. And number 2 is that I saw their check when we closed, and it was like, wow, they really did nothing, and that's a big check. So maybe I'll do that in the summers. So I got my license. I was playing professional softball at the time, slow pitch softball, and one of the guys on the team just so happened to be looking to buy his first home with him and his wife, Davey and Vanessa Davis. They bought their first home. We got them in, bought a spec home in a new home community. When you're new in the business, you have not much money, but you have time. So it's just like, this is a softball buddy. What do? We play softball and party. So it's like, well, we can't play softball, so let's have a party at his house. So we had a housewarming party at his house, and I invited by postcard 20 of their neighbors, and then they invited about 20 of their friends. We had the housewarming party at their house. We had pizza and beer. I got 11 referrals from the very first person that I worked with. And I found that not only were there great monetary rewards in being a business owner, entrepreneur in real estate, but there were a lot of intrinsic rewards as well. So it tugged at me emotionally as well as my pocketbook. And had those 11 referrals to work with. I worked with them through the end of the summer, and then business took off. I was planning periods, and between school and coaching a sport, I would be making phone calls. So I was trying to balance 2 things. And in that 4th year of teaching, I told them I was retiring from teaching, had a big retirement party at the age of like 25, and went into real estate full time.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. I love it, man. So let's talk about your real estate team then, dude.
Yeah.
So you're doing this 4 years, you're doing this part-time. Everybody starts off as an individual agent, which you did part-time, yes. and it just kept expanding, then you got into it full-time, and then from there, I mean, over time, you grew one of the top real estate teams that exists on the planet. Let's go through that, man. So you transitioned into it full-time. At what point did you realize, holy crap, I'm at my max capacity, I need to start growing a team, and how did that journey go for you?
I'll tell you, that's it's a magical moment, to be totally honest with you. I built my business entirely by referral. I had thrown money at things, billboards and kind of buy myself or buy my brand into, and it didn't work. It wasn't working. So I just dedicated myself that I was going to build relationships and I was going to get referrals. The housewarming parties helped. We started to design other events to lead to massive amounts of referrals. Well, one of those events was called a board of advisors meeting. So I would get champions, people who really liked me and my business. I would bring them together and ask their advice on building my business. Well, it was honestly, I did it kind of selfishly in the beginning just to get their advice. But what I found is that champion plus champion equals 2 ambassadors. When you bring people who kind of like you together and they talk about you a little bit, they love you. So they go from liking you to love you. And the second thing that happened was by giving this input to me, by helping me build my business, they were starting to take ownership in my business. And I didn't pay them a cent for that. I bought them lunch maybe, but I did not pay anything. And they were taking ownership in my business. And honestly, in myself and in my growth, they became even better referral sources because they had an ownership in what was called the Maher team at that point. Now it's a Kansas City home team. So I was doing these board of advisors meetings, and I could not wait for the one on December 2nd, 2004. So 2004, I did 186 transactions on my own. I netted just right at $1 million, grossed 1.35, and it was one of those where I won every award. It was number one agent everywhere. It was crazy. And I could not wait to go into that board of advisors and just brag it up, baby. 186 transactions. We helped a ton of families. We're doing it all by referral. We're spreading the love. And they absolutely punched me in the face. I had my best entrepreneurs, my best business owners around the table with me. And I had the biggest smile on my face. We were going over the stats. And I just remember Charles and Jeff were in that room, super high D's, right, on the disc behavioral style, super high, very, very successful in their businesses. And Charles literally says, "Michael, you're an idiot." That was his it wasn't like, "Oh, good job on your year, you're an idiot." No, it was, "You're an idiot. Look at yourself." At that time, I had gained about 20 pounds that year. I was running around, right? I was trying to work 24 hours a day. I was stressed. And they called me on it. I mean, big time, and just said, literally, you've got to change the way you're going to do it, or you're going to burn out, break down, and have a heart attack. So it's like, thanks guys, glad I invited you here. But you know what? They cared about me. And what's interesting is during that meeting, I had a huge aha, and this is going to be great for any entrepreneur or business owner, was what I found out from them is that clients don't want the greatest realtor in the world. When I started in the business, my goal was, I'm going to be the greatest realtor in the history of the world. That's my stated goal. Before affirmations, right? I am the greatest realtor in the world.
Yep.
So they don't want the world's greatest realtor. What people want is the world's greatest real estate transaction for them. They want the world's greatest real estate experience when they're buying and selling a home. So the big aha was, I can't do it all. And they don't even want that. They don't want the world's greatest realtor. They want the experience for them to be the best. I immediately started building a team. And I started adding people, and I got very fortunate, and I added great people. I had Ashley. Shannon is still running the team. She's a partner right now, runs a Kansas City home team. Ashley would still be there, but she got pregnant and has a kid, and they are happily married, and she doesn't really necessarily have to work anymore. So she helps us out occasionally. But that very first team, 11 years ago.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So I think that your board of advisors, man, I think that's so huge. I think it's big for anybody at every level to kind of have those mentors, or that, when we're playing the game as fast as we do, dude, it's impossible to see all the eyes on the field. So you got to have those people up in the skybox, right? So if somebody's looking to do that, how did you go? These are successful guys that are busy as hell. Like if somebody asked me right now, hey Josh, will you be on my board? I'm like, God, I don't, not that I want to be a jerk, but I don't got time. Like, how do you do it? How do you go out? Who do you ask?
Yeah, that's a great question. The first place you're going to look is, who are your current ambassadors and champions? Who are already naturally referring you? You want them to be on your board because they already care. They already trust you. The other group is you're looking at people who are potentially great referral sources who, and I'll tell you, the profile of this is, what's so cool about it is the same profile that makes them good to be on a board of advisor also makes them great to be referral sources. There's certain people that they're just predisposed to be great referral sources. Others are predisposed. They're never going to be a great referral source based on their behavioral style or their job or whatever it may be. And the ones that can make your board of advisors are the ones, guess what, that are going to be great referral sources for you. You may have to invite 20 to get 12, like inviting you. Here's the thing. You'd be a great candidate for a board of advisors, but you would say, no thanks. That's what's cool about it, is you don't have time to refer me and my business. You're humping it. You're doing what you do, but that's what's cool about inviting them to the board. You're going to find out who has time to refer you and who doesn't automatically from that. So you're going to invite 20 to get 12. But that's the thing. I would look for high D, high I behavioral styles, people that are social and outgoing, or people that are straight to the point and driven. It's going to be another scenario where, like, who's your ideal client? So I would invite those that fit your criteria the best. And people are like, well, I don't know my ideal client. Well, who are your clients now? That's what's so funny is your ideal client is probably who you're working with now. You just need to, you never noticed it before. You need to analyze your clientele, and it's like you're already working with them. You just haven't analyzed who you're actually working with. Yeah. If they want more help, they can go to 7lbook.com /board of advisors. Board of advisors is all in lowercase. I've got all my agendas from past ones. And the agenda is simply a survey. You get into curiosity. What would you really like to learn from your clients about your business? And that was, I'd have 6 or 7 questions. I'd have them fill it out. Just Chad Hauer, one of our coaching clients, just executed this in the Tacoma, Washington area. And he had 11 people. He ended up getting 30 referrals from his board of advisors meeting.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Do not forget to follow me on Facebook, Joshua Smith GSD, on Twitter, @Joshua Smith GSD, Instagram, Joshua Smith GSD. Make sure to also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Type in Joshua Smith, and I'm the good-looking cat at the top. If you haven't already, go to www.joshuasmithgsd.com and subscribe to our email list. You'll get these interviews sent to you via email, along with my blog, videos, updates, and all that other fun shit. As always, make sure you're taking action. Take all this golden information that you're getting delivered here and make sure you're applying it. Information without implementation is the start of delusion. So implement. Take massive levels of action. Get your hustle on. Get into GSD mode and go dominate. Peace out, guys, and see you next time.